Good afternoon, everybody. Welcome to our Mandalorian Season 2, Episode 2 Roundtable and Discussion. I think The Passenger was the name of this episode. Wasn't that it, Andre?
That was The Passenger, and it was an extremely suitable title, I gotta say. And we'll get back into how suitable it was later on as we get into spoilers a little bit.
Yes, and I'm sure we'll have a few more people join us as we move along here, but we just wanted to get started because we had tons of you lovely folks in the chat already. We already got some super chats. Look at this. Stargate 404 sent in $2, says Mando needs a child safety locker duct tape. I was thinking that at a couple points in this episode.
Yeah, absolutely.
So thank you for that, Stargate 404. And then Mr. Wolverine 007, a good friend of the channel, sends in $10. Ice spiders! He says, yes, there was lots of ice spiders in this. At least it wasn't, what was that, parasitic ice Discovery?
I'll take ice spiders any day over ice, parasitic ice, because here's the good thing. Spiders are pretty resilient. You'll be amazed at temperatures that they can go by if they should want to. So yeah, I have no problem accepting that.
Yeah, we'll get into that, I'm sure, here. But yeah, so here we are, second episode of Mandalorian. I can't remember. Were these episodes like 45 minutes each last year, too?
Yeah, they were.
Okay, I wasn't.
It varied between like 30 and 50 minutes, because here's like the thing that when you are on streaming, then you have the freedom to let each episode be edited at approximately the kind of like pace it needs, so that running time is going to differ from episode to episode by minutes rather than by seconds, like on network TV, where it has to fit this specific running time, because you need to have commercial break here, commercial break there, and then the next program is there. So you can only like deviate by seconds from episode to episode. But here they can like deviate with 20 minutes, 30, 40 if they want to. Like they can last for as long as they want. So yeah. And it's entirely up to them. And so with that, greetings to everyone in the chat. We have Donnie Pearson joining us. Welcome. And Film Lars. You sound like someone from my neck of the woods. And Jane Mary. Awesome. So glad to see all of you here. Hello, says Jane Mary to everyone. Well, hello.
And 4H and Chris Neville.
Hercules Rockefeller. Awesome.
Thank you, everybody, for joining us. We appreciate having you here, and I'm sure some more people will come in here. But so, you want to start out with a quick synopsis, or how should we begin this?
Yeah, we can start with a quick synopsis. I mean, we've said, like you both in the description and in the title, that there's gonna be spoilers. So let's deal with the spoilers after we say thank you to Leland for a $20 super sticker. That is very, very much appreciated.
It was thank you so much. Pair with a mirror saying thanks for being you. Well, thank you for being you, Leland. Appreciate that.
Absolutely. And yeah, to summarize the episode, this was another side quest, basically. Yeah, exactly. There you go. Jake D read my mind. Video game side quest today. The Mandalorian has had many side quests, and in this one, it follows up from the previous episode. He returns to the what name of the place, wherever where like the woman is, the one with the motherly instincts for Baby Yoda.
Tatooine.
Yeah, but like the city in Tatooine.
Oh, I can't remember it either. It's not Mos Eisley or Espa. It's one of the other.
No,
towns.
Exactly. It's it's another one. But either way, it's pretty cool that went back there, and he's still looking for more Mandalorians. When it came back, it looked like he had like found the Mandalorian, killed him because he was wearing the armor. And that was pretty funny. I was like thinking that too when we saw him like on the floating motorcycle with like the Boba Fett's helmet hanging there on the side. It looks like he's decapitated Boba Fett, so it's like not a great look. But we quickly learned that no, he got that armor fair and square, and the owner, who was not the Mandalorian, gave it up willingly in exchange for basically a trade, as we saw last episode. But he's still looking for more Mandalorians, and he's able to find information that there might be Mandalorians this place, but some bargaining back and forth. He has to be a taxi driver for a frog lady who is bringing her eggs to be inseminated, and these are like her last batch. So she's like a woman in her 40s or something. So she's like on her last leg, and if she can't do that, do this, then her entire lineage is going to end with her. So very, very important, and because of that, they can't go in faster than light speeds, because that's going to be bad for the eggs. Something else that turns out to be bad for the eggs is Baby Yoda. To them, these eggs are snacks.
Everything's a snack to that kid.
So yeah, which I thought was like it was funny and tragic
at the
all
same time. Yeah,
time.
it's kind of like a Monty
Yeah.
Python joke. It was weird because, like, I understand the feelings some people are having, but you know, you look at it, they're they weren't fertilized eggs, so really it's no different than us eating a chicken's egg. But
This
for
is
Baby
true.
Yoda,
This
yeah,
is true.
for Baby Yoda though, they must have been pretty fucking tasty.
They must have been, because he was gobbling them down. Because like here's like the thing that this series, it has kind of like reared us upon like all the feelings and parenthood, and he's like a baby, but this is nature. Like you do eat eggs. That's what we do with chickens, and that's what people do, or what animals do in the animal kingdom. Like animals will gobble up each other's eggs like there's nothing. So yeah.
So yeah, I mean, I understand
yeah.
Because they played it weird at first. They played it like, oh, he's going to be all obsessed with these eggs because they're the last of these species. I thought, and he'll want to be protective of them. Oh, no, he just wants to eat the damn things. And then I thought, okay, so then what we're going to find out is these really aren't her eggs. They're really some, like, creature's eggs that are, like, deadly or something. Probably a lot like those spiders is what I was thinking, but we never really got that out of it. So I was like, okay, I guess they are what they are. But like you said,
she showed proper maternal consideration.
Absolutely,
like bathing with them, and so no, I absolutely believe that those were genuinely.
I pretty much until that twist in that cave there, I was like, wasn't sure. Like, yeah, I'm like, what's the deal here? Because otherwise, why would they have Baby Yoda eating it? But that just goes to show you, like you were saying, that I don't think Favreau's going to pull as many punches as KK would, and some of the other people that have worked on Star Wars so far.
Absolutely. So I'm sure that inside of those eggs are the baby frogs, or rather the larvae. What are they called again?
The embryo is all they were, I think, because that's the thing, is they were unfertilized. So again, and I understand Matthew Clark, it is it's a dark bit of humor. Again, and like I said, it's definitely kind of a Monty Python-esque type kind of joke. You know, it just takes it to that point. And with, if it was any other creature, it would probably be more tragic. But I think just they played it right on that line.
Yeah.
And you didn't have her like freaking out either. So that must have been, you know, if it was that big of a deal to her, I think it would have, you know, been.
Well, you saw that she was quite protective of the.
She was, but like I would think she would have. I was waiting for her to freak out that one or two were missing. Remember, because like but she never did.
Too. She was really cool about it, all in all. But it could be that with so many eggs, she's like happy if like 2 or 3 of them.
Well, that's what I was thinking. Is like it's one of those things where they seem pretty fragile anyway. So again, you know, it's kind of one of those dark jokes. And I thought it was the Baby Yoda is an asshole. It didn't help him in the eyes of some people, I'm sure.
But to me, it actually adds a layer of depth to the series.
I did. Like I said, I saw it as like, you know, at the end of it, I'm like, well, you know, nature takes its course. You know, it is what it is, you know?
Yeah. Nature is a cruel. Yeah, exactly.
But I loved it, like in the fact that he ate one of those little spiders and all that other stuff, and he actually did some talking.
We're getting ahead of ourselves. Yeah. So basically, they're then taxi service to like this frog planet where the husband of the frog has like charted out a new life for them, so she has to like go there. But then, since they can't go faster than light, they're subject to pirates, to the law, and to everything else. And the law is basically what intercepts them in the end. And then he tries to like bullcrap his way through like this checkpoint control, but that doesn't work. So in the end, they crash down on a planet. I don't know if it was Hoth or something much like Hoth, but it was another ice planet where they get trapped in the ice and everything, and they have to spend some time until they're able to make repairs. And while they do that, then this frog lady decides that it's too cold in here, so she takes her eggs and she takes off into a cave where she finds a spa, like a thermal spa, which is like a good place for it. So she must have like some super senses to be able to find it, but she evidently did. And there they are surrounded by eggs, other eggs, not frog eggs, but other kind of eggs. Tom, of course, you picked up what this was a reference to.
I did. What did I say it was? Now it was
Alien.
Alien. Yeah. Well, they've been bringing it up in the chat too. Yeah, I brought that up earlier too. Yeah, that's right.
Yeah, so
it was very. I knew something was going to happen there. Like, yeah, don't eat that spider, baby. That's the first thing I said.
Yeah, here's like the thing. Yeah, they were essentially face huggers. That's what they were.
Yeah.
They were the Star Wars.
I was waiting for him to get sick, actually.
Yeah.
At first, and then I seen the rest of the eggs, and I'm like, oh shit. And then
I think that he must have some really strong stomach lining. But basically, he walked up to one of these eggs and he opened it and he took out the embryo and he ate it, like one does. But of course, his proximity, just like with other facehugger eggs, triggered it. And speaking of Alien, we have the perfect guest with us here, Mr. H Reviews. Welcome.
Take me to your leader. How's it going?
I'm good, thank you. And yourself?
Yeah, good. Just finished up a workout, so sort of made it in time. You've only been on for about 10 minutes, so that works out, right?
Yeah, we're not too long in.
Yeah, so that's perfect. We had just gotten to the point by retelling or recapping the events of the episode, and they had just gotten to the cave. With the thermal spa, and Baby Yoda decided he wanted a snack, so he decided to snack on a Star Wars face hugger, in the process triggering all the other face huggers.
And the mama face huggers.
Yeah, and I just want to say one other cool thing here with the name of the episode, The Passenger, which is like, to me, it's a twofold reference. One is that it's a reference to the frog lady, but on top of that, it's also a reference to the not the subtitle, but like the marketing title of Alien, which was the eighth passenger.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was good.
Yeah. So I thought that was pretty cool. Mr. H, what did you think about the Alien references in the episode so far?
Well, I really like. I mean, overall, the episode I really, really liked. Like, a lot of people have been coming through, because I did a review on my channel earlier, and a lot of people have been coming through saying, "Oh, it's just pointless filler. It's just this. It's just that," and blah 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 blah. And like I get all of that if you just want like a non-stop thrill ride, but you have to look at the end of the day, those that thought it was filler, but those that thought it was filler, from that group of people who are also really excited because Boba Fett turned up at the last episode, are you now not really excited to see Boba Fett pop up in a future episode? Yes, that's the whole point of a slowdown. Like, nowhere has this series been advertised as it's only telling this one singular story non-stop, so it's not actually filler. That's the point of this series. It is very much a spaghetti western. Like, this episode was a bit of a like a mystery quest. We need to get this from here to go over to there, but it was still furthering the story, because he had a lead on Mandalorians on Tatooine. That went nowhere. He now has a further lead on Trask, I think was the planet that they're eventually going to. So
I think that was it.
Yeah, I got a name towards the end. I didn't pick it up earlier on, but I think it was Trask. But whatever. But it's progressing the story along nicely. And also, last episode we had basically none of Baby Yoda. This episode had lots of Baby Yoda. So they're sort of juggling it quite nicely. I really liked it. I thought it was pretty damn good, to be fair. And I also think, because I don't know whether I said this to you guys sort of offhand on another time or anything like that, but I think the fact that they're pulling it back from that heavy pace that they had at the the end of the last season, we're still waiting for Moff Gideon, aren't we? Like, it helps build that nice pace and sort of anticipation for things to happen. If they just happen, then you've blown your load too quick. No one likes blowing their load too quick, guys. Like, come on.
I've said that before too. Like, because I know a lot of people are like, well, you know, we don't get the answers about this, that, and the other. It's like, well, let them tell you. Let them take time to tell you.
Let them go nice and slow with it.
It's not like they're going to cancel this tomorrow. I mean,
yeah, you don't have to get it all at once. And those that are saying it's just filler, well, I mean, it's not though, is it? Because it has actually progressed the story. You know, he has another lead. Yes, they could have given you that lead quicker, but in so would you have got Baby Yoda? So it's always a flip flop. I really liked it though. I don't see any issue with it at all. And I liked the that soundstage that they're working on is just mind blowing. Like, you've got to give them credit for that. That's just goddamn.
Well, I did like this episode much more than the first episode, but we hadn't really gotten that far yet. I know. Did you want to just quickly finish up the synopsis?
Let's quickly finish the synopsis. So basically, they get to the face huggers and are attacked by ice spiders, upon which they flee back to the spaceship after burning or killing the spiders with fire. Another nice alien reference, I have to say. And then they are completely overrun, but they're bailed out by basically the security guys that they escaped from in the first place, that decided, you know, we did some checking, and you, Mando, you're a fugitive, but you did some cool stuff as well. So we're like, just get out of our sight and don't bother us anymore. They leave them be to continue with their quest. The end. And as for my opinion, I agree with Mr. H. I thought that this was a really entertaining episode, and I think you have a great point that this is a Western. This is a Firefly-style spaghetti Western series. It's all about the side quests. Yeah, you have like a main goal, but in the end, the journey here is the side quests. That's how you get to know the characters and how like what little character development there is pushed forward. I had fun with this episode. I like this alien reference. So like they don't try to hide it and conceal it like they do in Star Trek Discovery, where they rip something off and try to like pretend that, oh, look how amazing we are. Here's like, it's obvious that they're doing an alien homage, and they have it in the title and everything. Yeah. So kind of like, this is how you do it. I think this is a cool series, and what I find is like funny is that me and Mr. H were like some of the biggest fans of this I know, and we're not the Star Wars fans.
Yeah.
So I would say that this series has succeeded in making people that were casuals into fans. So that's and this episode is an episode that does that. So people that complain, I disagree with your complaints. You feel free to have them, but I disagree. But Tom, maybe you have complaints.
I mean, again, I understand some of the apathy from some of the fans. I can understand those who feel like this is too little too late. You know, this is the boyfriend coming home with flowers after they got caught screwing around too many times. It just, you know, and doesn't necessarily make up for all of it. You know, I mean, I can understand some people's apprehension with the shows. And the only thing I don't understand is the whole, like, you know, where people don't understand it's the East meets West kind of spaghetti Western kind of thing going on, with a little bit of Kurosawa, a little bit of spaghetti Western director you just said?
Sergio Leone.
Yeah, that's who. It's like that kind of a mix. I get that, and like that one episode some people complained about and said it was too much like the Magnificent Seven. It's like, no, it's paying homage to the Seven Samurai, which Star Wars is heavily influenced by Kurosawa. So I understood what they were doing there. Now, again, there may be issues within the episode itself. And same thing here. Some people are going to have issues with Baby Yoda eating the eggs. We've got a lot of them in the chat, and I understand why. As a parent, I totally do. But I also understand that they're unfertilized eggs, and it's part of nature. And it's kind of cute in a weird way, like in a dark kind of humor way. And
basically, you do no different. Whenever you have like an omelette or something, that's kind of what you do.
I get it, and that's what I brought up right away. It's no different than us eating chicken eggs. It's the same kind of ordeal. But as far as like it being Star Wars, the Mandalorian has so far given us the most closest thing to Star Wars since the prequels. So I can't knock it for that. I mean, for those who don't like it, that's obviously a subjective thing, and I totally get that there are, some objectionable things that can be brought up. Like, we had Stieg bring up last week in that last episode about how, they're ripping and picking out parts from the EU, but they just decided to toss it out. It wasn't good enough before, but now it is, kind of thing. And I get that. That's gonna really poke some fans the wrong way. I could understand that from a certain point of view, to steal a reference from Star Wars. But as far as this show goes, I don't feel the influence of KK over it. I don't feel this this need to overly stuff it with any kind of political bullshit. It doesn't feel tainted in that way. Again, you can have issues with Baby Yoda, his powers, how they are treated, how the show was originally presented to us. I know that's another thing people have had issues with, and I understand that. It's not exactly what they said it was going to be. It's Lone Wolf and Cub, not, the Mandalorian going on a new adventure every week to get a bounty. And that's what everybody wants to see, and that's great. But if that's what you want to see, it's going to be even more like a video game than it already is. Because to me, you can only
boring. To be fair,
that's what I say. Like, you can only do that for 2 or 3 episodes before it becomes pretty goddamn monotonous.
Well, but also, isn't that basically just mystery box of the week? Isn't that just a
pretty much
procedural in space? Do you know what I mean? Like,
pretty much. Like, that's what I'm saying. I'm not. I mean, and again,
so if they want that, then their complaints are a bit dumb. To be fair, because if your complaints over this are the fact that they're only just doing this and this to sort of achieve this, and it's kind of just going from one episode per week to the next, and you're not getting to the narrative. Well, that's exactly the same as Mando just popping out and getting a bounty each week. That is exactly the same thing.
Yeah, I think that many of the complaints are really about it's a fan base scorned and hurt from Star Wars in general. And if this thing had come out a few years ago, it would have been great. But people are just like so hurt and so betrayed by the brand as a whole that this, as good as it is, kind of like isn't enough. But in a sense, I feel that this is just what is needed. It's my opinion.
It. I think it's great. I really like the fact that little Yoda, little baby Yoda eating them stuff, eating the eggs, and I think it's a larger thing at play there because it shows that he has no affiliation to the light or the dark side. He doesn't have that connection. He's very much just a free agent of the Force, and I think that's something which is quite interesting, to be honest.
This is a very, very good point. Absolutely, because every time we've seen him act of kindness and everything, it was something in it for him. Like when he protected the Mandalorian, he wasn't doing it out of the goodness of his heart. He was protecting his own protector.
Yeah. Exactly.
So yeah, you're absolutely right. Like he's a child, and he has loads that he has to learn still. But let's hear what you in the chats have to say, just to get caught up on super chats. Stargate 404 says, "I like Mando's thinking. Kill spiders with fire." Yeah, that was pretty awesome scene. That was a very awesome scene, and another nice homage to Aliens. And Laserpants says those spiders were in Rebels too. Oh, that's fantastic. Then you have
and I guess there was other people saying they were based on Ralph McQuarrie drawings too, as well. If that's true, that's cool as well.
Yeah, very cool. Yeah, I think they showed them towards the end credits, because I was thinking that in the end credits they have animated concept art, so that might have been the original Ralph McQuarrie things that we were looking at there, which if so, very cool. And 200 Watt Studio has 2 super chats, basically disagreeing with us. He's saying this episode was awful. Nothing happens. And then in the next one, he crashes. Something happens. Fixes ship. Repeat. Oh, but there's something happened, you see? So it's not like nothing happened. But yeah, if you don't like it, then absolutely that's your privilege to not like it. But in my opinion, I disagree. I disagree with your opinion respectfully. I think it was a good episode, where maybe not the most was happening, but still enough was happening to keep me entertained at least. This is a series that right now I'm looking forward to each and every new episode of. That's the only thing that has a star in it that I can say that for. And Alpha Omega Records says Mando is bland and meaningless considering Disney Star Wars. I can't stand to watch anymore. Just another IP down the drain.
I understand that.
I understand that. It could be for Star Trek, for Star Wars as a whole. But I don't think that Mando is to blame for that.
No, but I understand it as well, because there's times watching the show, and I've said it the last season when we were watching it, was like, look, let's be fair here. If it wasn't for this damn baby, I probably wouldn't be watching the show. Because I have no real love for Boba Fett, so I have no real attachment to giving a crap about a Mandalorian. They haven't really given us... They've given us some things about Mando, and I care about him, but the only reason I care about him is because of the baby. You get what I'm saying? Like...
Yeah, it's the back and forth. It's the... what is he doing with it? Is he being a better person? Is the baby affected? It's a collaborative thing, isn't it, really?
Right, yeah. And a lot of people want the baby out of the picture. So
God, no.
For me, if that's the case, then
that'd be boring.
No, not you guys, but there are people who do.
Yeah. Yeah.
And I respect their opinion on that, and that's what I'm saying though. But once that happens, then that kind of takes away any desire for me to watch it, because I have zero connection to Boba Fett. I have zero real connection to what's her face coming in outside of the actress playing her, Ahsoka Tano. Because I never watched the Clone Wars that much. I have them, but I've never sat down and watched them. So
I'll tell you what, if in a future episode, bloody Ahsoka Tano comes out and takes that child, and we're left with just Mando, I'm going to be pissed. I'm probably going to start watching it.
That's kind of where I'm at.
That will not interest me in the slightest if that happens. Obviously, they will never do that, because I don't think they are that stupid. I think the people in charge of this are a lot smarter than that. But yeah, like it is, Mando and Baby Yoda. And I think what they did really well with this currently going into the second season is very clearly they haven't been reactionary. Have you noticed? Everyone loved Baby Yoda. They haven't suddenly crammed him more and more into it, have they? He is, again, just peppered in as he was before. And it's great, because it goes to show that the writers behind it, at the very least, had a vision, and they are sticking to it. Whereas they could have been massively reactionary. I mean, part of why the sequels were, terrible was because it was all reactionary. Oh, what can we do to try to get some people on side? Oh, we'll suddenly do this. Like, fuck off.
Well, and I seen where some of the dark humor may have come from in this episode. Did you see who the director was?
I don't remember it, but I did see
Peyton Reed.
Oh, yeah. No, that makes
right.
sense.
Okay. Yeah, cool. Speaking of cool, Miranda Sinistra sends us $5 saying, "Yay, Mr. H, now it's a party." So glad to have you.
It's better than torturing him with Star Trek Discovery, that's for sure.
Getting an STD over here. That's what it is, that crump.
Yeah. But I agree completely with what you're saying. This whole thing works because it's lone wolf and cub. That is what makes it work. You change that part of the concept and it no longer works. And it could be, and this is something that we can't rule out, that the people that I know that really enjoy this is you, Mr. H, and myself, whereas the Star Wars fan are like a little bit more iffy in it. And I think maybe that is because it has classical elements that we enjoy as film enthusiasts, that this brings us in, whereas maybe it doesn't have enough pure Star Wars things in it to win over the Star Wars fans. Maybe, I don't know.
Well,
maybe
and some of it is because when they do, it's a lot of member berries. Like, it's stuff that's just shoved in there just to have something because, we know what Gamorrean guards are, and Filoni's playing a rebel pilot. Oh, that's not, narcissistic.
But I think all those member berries are done quite smartly.
For the most part, in my opinion, I have not had an issue, but I do understand why people would.
Out there, it wasn't like, look, I managed to get this from a famous young child that did.
Well,
blah, blah, blah,
R4 was a little on the fucking nose.
All they do is show you elements of the universe that we've seen before. Now,
that one junk lady, though, she had R4. That was a little on the nose.
No, but it's on Tatooine. Like, he's still going to be there unless he's bought, isn't he? Like, that does actually make sense.
Yeah, to a point.
No, I mean it does. Like, it's one planet. How many droids do you think land on that planet that the Jawas are going to still barter with? Like, not many.
Yeah,
So
true.
if they last, they will get in circulation.
And they will last because they're going to maintain those little fuckers. There's not that
Yeah,
many of them
it
to
makes
go around.
perfect sense. And all of the other member berries, they're not member berries in the derogatory sense, like I say, because they're not thrust in your face like, oh, look at this, isn't this cool? It's just this is an element of the unit. It would be weird if we didn't see the guards again. It would be weird if we didn't see these things. It would be very strange. Like, a universe has to have an established, laws and physics to the, to its structure. So these elements that we have seen before will naturally crop back up.
Yeah, I'm inclined to agree with that.
Like the Sarlacc pit.
Yeah,
like if they breezed through the entire season 2, right, and Boba Fett turned up, right, and they didn't mention the Sarlacc pit at all, you'd be like, why the fuck didn't you mention that? But now it has been mentioned. People are like, oh, member berries. Well, no, what? It makes sense. They literally said that was an old Sarlacc pit. I've never seen an old Sarlacc pit. Well, something ate the Sarlacc. Okay, well, that also makes sense as to why Boba Fett got out, doesn't it? Do you know what I mean? There's like all these kind of, I don't know. To me, it makes perfect sense. But, again, coming from like a non super fan, I get that other people would have, a higher affinity for these member berries and might see them as more offensive than I would, because I just see them as elements to the universe that make sense when they pop up. But yeah,
I personally haven't had many problems with them, but I know people who have. But we did get a couple more super chats. Stargate 404 sends in $5, says, not to get into politics, but given that certain people in Hollywood are going to be happy, you think things will change for the better at Disney too? Now, you just talked about this earlier, Andre, in a private conversation.
I can tell you the answer to that. But before I do, would you guys like to have your say in that?
I pretty much agree with what you said earlier. So
yeah, okay, Mr. H. Now that it looks like the challenger is going to be president of the United States, do you think things will change for the better in Hollywood? Because certain people in Hollywood there will be very, very happy.
Oh. I don't know really, because I mean, I don't know anything about US politics, but aren't the feet on the ground? There's still overwhelming support for Trump. Haven't a lot of people voted for him? So if you're thinking from a business perspective, yes, someone might get into power that is obviously in line with what Hollywood has been doing, very lefty, but still boots on the ground, people that are actual consumers, are not that way, or at least it's pretty even. I don't know. I mean, I don't know.
I got a good answer to this. They're going to be more than happy to continue to shove their politics down your throat for the next 4 years.
And I will raise you that. I will tell you who is happy. The reason why so many in Hollywood were championing so hard for Biden is because they want bailouts. Here's what you have to understand. This key thing about the Obama and Biden presidency back in 2008, when the world of finance crushed the entire world economy, and I say this as someone with a background in finance who was there on the inside, is that the people that did that, the people responsible, really they should have been locked up for the rest of their lives because they were criminals. Instead, they got bailouts. They got bailouts and huge bonuses and nice cushy jobs afterwards. And the reason they got that is because of the administration in charge. And that is why Hollywood is championing so hard for Biden, because they think that with the Biden presidency, they're going to get bailouts to make everything fine again. Everyone that is so gung-hung for him, you'll note that it's the rich and the famous. It's Wall Street. It's all of these people that want bailouts from your tax money. So they are super happy. They're going to be much better off right now. In terms of our entertainment, that's going to go down to hell. I guarantee you. If you think it was woke so far, you ain't seen nothing yet.
Well, and that's what I was saying about those rules.
But say that the bailouts, they will come with the cost. and that cost is going to be putting an agenda into the movies. So if anyone in Hollywood wants an agenda, wants a bailout, well, you can have it, but that's going to cost this and this in terms of propaganda that goes into your entertainment. So things are not going to get better for your entertainment. It's not going to get better for your economy, and it's not going to get better for you, for your taxes or anything like that. But it's going to get very much better for Hollywood and for Wall Street. So yes.
Well, yeah, and that's why I said they put those rules in, because they were prepared for whether or not, no matter who won. And then in the Oscar rules, once they were in place, I knew every studio would follow suit, and they pretty much have been for the most part. It's been slow moving, but they will, and they really will now. And Monica, I don't have a Boba fetish because I never saw the holiday special until like way later as an adult, and he doesn't do shit in Empire Strikes Back, but stand around and look good. Because Vader does everything.
He gets hit and then he dies. Like, it's just pathetic.
And then in Return of the Jedi, he goes out like a little punk. So I don't read the EU stuff. I never got into the comics outside of just having a cool toy for it and stuff like that. I guess I just never really saw the appeal. Yay, he's a bounty hunter. Okay.
He looked cool, but
they talk about him more than he actually does anything, though. That's the problem. Tone Stir Tree sends in $5. As a lifelong Star Wars fan who saw Episode 4 in original release in theaters, it is good. Not great, but looking forward to what is coming that is going to be great. Well, and hopefully that's what Favreau is going to try and do. And I think he's really trying to make the fans happy as a fan. I really do. I mean, I could be wrong, but I don't feel like he has any nefarious agenda like other people do. I feel like he just wants to make good entertainment. I mean, yeah, he's not made perfect films. He's made some doozies. But I don't ever feel like he's trying to pander to some agenda in any of his films, for that matter. I don't know. What do you guys think? I generally think he's a pretty straight shooter as far as a director goes.
Yeah, I think he's fine. H?
Yeah. I mean, I like it all, so I don't really have an issue with it.
I was going to say, outside of maybe The Lion King and Aliens and Cowboys or whatever, those are the only two movies I can think of offhand that were really
but here's the thing, like
Mars Needs Mom, didn't he make that too? I think
I don't recall, but like he's made like some weird movies, but like the movies lately, that was like Disney coming to him and saying, you're gonna have to do us a favor, you're gonna have to take one for the team. We know you don't really want to do this, but we have these movies and we need your name and we need you to just pull this thing ashore.
Yeah, but let's put it this way, right? Like, what are there, 8-10 episodes of Mandalorian each season, right? So something if you're counting them as mini movies, he wrote all of them basically. So if you're thinking about his overall portfolio of work, it's more positive than it is negative, isn't it?
Right, and that's what I was saying. Like, I mean, and even in his worst stuff, it's not bad because he was trying to put some agenda out there. Is what I was getting at. Yeah.
No, but he'll be asked to now. I guarantee you, like once the bailouts happen, he's going to be told that, okay, we got this money, and because of that, we're going to have to include this and this and this and this into everything that we do. And then that's going to be like of the list of things that he's going to have to put into his work.
And then speaking of some, well, not so bad member berries, as Mr. H was talking about before, Aces $4.99 sends in a super chat. If you want to get that one, Andre.
Yeah, sure. Aces says the Great Dragon in Episode 1 made the same noise Obi-Wan made in A New Hope. All right, when he scared those Tusken Riders away in A New Hope. I liked how they mixed that in.
Now, my question was it the original howl or was it the special edition howl?
Oh, they changed that a lot, didn't they?
Yeah, that's what I'm curious too, because that even goes back to last week's episode where they kind of went back to the Return of the Jedi, where they showed the explosion, and there's been some just debate going on whether or not they're neglecting or whatever the sequel trilogy now because there wasn't any debris left over.
Yeah.
So we'll see. I have to check that out. I didn't even really pay attention to that. Commandant VHS sends in $2. Says Mandalorian needs some scenes without his man. Is that you, Pedro?
Yeah, I think Pedro is the one that really sent that. No, he doesn't. He really doesn't. I'm perfectly happy with the FaceTime that he has gotten so far, and I don't think he needs any of it.
I don't think
Just
he's
like,
too happy with his toy, though. Did you see that ugly thing?
yeah, that looked like Robert Sadar.
Actually, you want to see bad toys? Have you seen
Rest
the
in
Dune
peace.
toys by fucking McFarlane? They're atrocious.
No, I haven't looked at them.
Oh my god. Seriously. They are so bad. They're made by McFarlane.
And they're not going to sell anything with the movies not in theaters or anything like that. It's like losses all around. So yeah, the people, that's like funny, like Dune and bad toys, they have like a good history with that. Like the toys for the 84 version apparently weren't all that either.
Make so many money, like so much money on merchandise. Like the toys would be epic. I'd fucking
The
buy
toys for the original are only worth like money right now because they didn't make that many or whatever, and they didn't sell and stuff, and they're hard to find.
And anything that's in low quantities and is rare, people want. So,
but like the worms go for like an outrageous amount.
yeah, probably.
I hope I didn't miss a super chat here.
Yeah, no, we're all good so far.
Okay.
Next one is from 200 Watt Studio, saying Lone Wolf and Cub is fantastic. That had drama and substance as you wanted. This show doesn't. It's meandering. Well, you're free to have that opinion.
Yeah,
Absolutely.
I'm not so sure about the meandering, but I get a lot of people feel that way, but I'm not sure.
Yeah. Like if you feel that way, that should not be discounted. I disagree, but feel free to feel that way. Absolutely.
I mean, I'm not sure what they want. I mean, if you want all the answers now, then to me that's almost like
not really an episode, then, is it?
Yeah, the will they won't they kind of thing in a comedy. It's like once they get together, it kind of the sparks go out, you know.
Yeah, kind of like that's when the Big Bang Theory kind of like lost its luster as well. As for me, I find myself the way that it is right now. I look forward to the next episode and what's going to come that, and I'm like thinking with the Boba Fett thing. I'm like, oh crap, they're going to start filming that now. I want to see it now.
Laser Pants, nice name, sends in $3.99. Says the Mandalorian needs to do some scenes without his pants. Well, I'm sure the ladies might enjoy that anyway, and well, some men, I'm sure.
Yeah, I guess so.
Yeah. Well, we've seen like his toilet several times, so be careful.
Yeah, and he said to use the privy. We know.
Yeah.
Now we finally got a toilet in Star Wars. Alpha Omega Records sends in another 5. That's £5, right?
Yes, that's 5 British pounds.
I'll take this one then. As you're talking politics, Biden stealing the election means hell for Brexit. No free trade deal because he'll side with the EU and Ireland. Hideous.
Yeah, this is true. The UK is screwed now as well. You guys might have more to
say about that than I do.
That's really concerning, actually. Like huge.
Yeah, that's really concerning. That's a huge concern.
Well, it is and it isn't. I think the UK is powering on with the sort of Commonwealth at the moment. Like, you know, outside of the Commonwealth, we've just done a deal with Japan. I think we're going to get some deals with Australia as well, and hopefully Canada if they get rid of that goatee.
You have one in Norway with Norway already, so we're good and well.
Yeah, good. But yeah, no, that's not cool that he's like. Also, as well, any of the Americans, like the fucking Democrats that come out and were like, "Oh, it breaks the Good Friday Agreement." Shut the fuck up. You don't know anything about the Good Friday Agreement, and you illustrate that perfectly by talking about it. You sound like a moron. It's so funny listening to these idiots talk about how the Good Friday Agreement is going to be destroyed by what we're doing. Like, piss off. Ridiculous. Anyway, whatever.
They're the worst gaslighters I've seen. But
moving on from politics, Tone Star Tree also reminds us that this episode had some great moments, though, or I think he's talking about the series overall, probably one or the other. Either way, yeah, there's been some pretty cool moments. We brought it up earlier. I thought it was kind of cute when Yoda started talking finally, because I knew eventually he was either going to start talking or picking up some language.
Doesn't he?
Well, it was kind of like I think he was speaking like Huttese or something like that to him, because he was actually saying some little words there. It sounded like to me. I could be wrong. Gurgling. It could have been, but like when he was
sorry, carry on. I just remember there are 2 things here I want to take.
I was just going to say when he was like pointing in the direction, it sounded like he was saying like she went that way and took the eggs or whatever, and he like responded to him. I could be wrong though, but
yeah.
There were 2 things here that I really enjoyed, and it reminded me when you mentioned that about languages. What I really enjoyed was this thing in the last episode we saw that the Mandalorian, he can speak the language of the Tusken Raiders.
Mm.
But he could not speak the language of the frog people, so the frog
Yeah, he
had
was
to
trying
like
to see if
hang
she
a service droid.
spoke a different language that they could understand. Yeah,
Which is good because he's not. Well,
Yeah,
he's not. What is he not? He's not Gary Stew. There you go.
exactly, and that's something that's been like annoying me with Star Wars up till this point. Is like everyone is like talking with these aliens to have like these weird languages, and it's like mutually understandable. Where you have like one guy talking nice and clear, and another is like doing this unintelligible gibberish. That's kind of like a Norwegian speaking to a Dane, and we have like a joke that like Danish sounds like Norwegian. If you get him drunk and put a potato in his mouth, what comes out is Danish. I kind of like feel like a little bit with that. But
I thought it was cool
but,
that she took apart the robot and
yeah.
used that to translate too. I thought that was kind of neat.
So yeah,
Yeah, I thought it was good.
so I thought that was like a huge thing. They're like, oh, you have to learn the language. There's only like so many languages that you can learn, and speaking from personal experience, you can only speak so many languages. So I thought that was pretty cool. Another cool thing that I liked is that for the first time there was something resembling a little bit of science here. And what I'm thinking about is in the start of the episode, where basically he met these raiders that they destroyed his motorcycle, and they tried to steal his jetpack, and he got that back in a really cool way. And then he didn't fly to the nearest town. Now, why didn't he do that? Well, it's obviously because it's going to run out of fuel. Because it
Yeah,
runs
that's what
on
I said.
chemical. Yeah, it runs on chemical fuels. That's the first time that I think we've seen that.
Yeah.
I know
Well,
that
because
there's been like some instances in Legends that it's gonna run out of fuel if he tries. So he has to
But
carry
it's not just that; it's that he
cargo.
probably already has. That was the last of it. Because remember, in the last episode, he was in that jetpack a lot. He used it
So
a
yeah,
lot in the first episode, and he hasn't gone back to refuel it anywhere. So it kind of makes sense that it would be out of fuel, you know?
yeah. Absolutely, absolutely. And I like that because that's like bringing a little bit of reality into the fantasy. So I think that's pretty cool.
Mhm.
I really enjoy those two things, those little things of science fiction in the fantasy that is Star Wars.
And I'm sure Frank Marshall would have appreciated all the spiders. It's an arachnophobia reference, but anyway.
All right, yeah. I love that movie, by the way.
Kill him with fire.
Yeah.
Uh,
Is that where that's from? Kill them with fire?
I don't know. I'm pretty sure that fucking at some point they did because they had to blow the ones up at the end and burn that barn down. And then I think I'm trying to remember if they ended up using a flamethrower at some point or not. I'm sure John Goodman probably would have if he did have one. It's been so many years since I've seen that movie. I've got it on Blu-ray, but
yeah, I just remember that I really enjoyed it.
it's a good movie. Yeah.
Yeah, I haven't seen it for ages now, but yeah, it was cool at the time. Absolutely, very much so.
But anyway, did we have any more super chats come in?
I believe we are up to speed, but I shall do an extra check just to play it safe. Yeah, no, we are up to speed with super chats.
All right. Anything else you guys wanted to cover on this episode, or should we
not
probably
really.
call it a day?
Yeah, we're good. Okay, Mr. H, thanks for joining us. Where can people find you?
Well, I've actually just launched my website. I don't know if you checked out on Twitter. So I've just launched officially the productionhfilms.com website. So I've got that on the go now.
Awesome.
As I, start making movies. But yeah, you can just find me over on Mistakes Reviews. Just YouTube it, you'll find me. Same as Twitter and Instagram. But yeah, that's it.
Absolutely awesome, cool. And Tom, where can everyone knows where to find you, but where can they find you next time?
Well, I believe I'll be on Friday Night Tights here in a couple of hours, so you'll be able to find me there.
Awesome, excellent. And I'll be back again unless there is some kind of new editorial that needs making over the course of the weekend. You'll hear me next time on Midnight's Edge in the morning on Monday at 9 o'clock LA time. That's 5 p.m. UK time and 6 p.m. Europe time. And with that, everyone, thanks for joining us. It's been an absolute pleasure to have you here, including from Filmlars, who's from Denmark, who evidently has humor about what I said about the Danish language. It's all in good sport. So, yeah, awesome. Okay, everyone, have a great continued day and evening.